Good morning, Western Civ students. Obviously, this is Alex Mirkovic. We are switching to online instruction, as you probably have heard, and nobody knows how is this going to work, but let's hope it does. Well, we have our exam coming up on Thursday. These are IDs, and IDs are collected. You can find them under announcements. It says IDs for the midterm coming up on Thursday after the break, and that's what we plan to do. I was planning to have a question and answer session tomorrow, but we'll have to do that online. So I'll be online tomorrow 9:30. There is a place under conferences and where we can get together and discuss. It's kind of like Skype. That's how it works. But let's go quickly over the IDs for the midterm. There is altogether 25 of these, and 10 will be on the exam. Number 1 is Hammurabi. I'll go first for the most important thing. First of all, write something rather than nothing. That's always better. The second thing is go for the most important thing. That's how you remember it. If you're trying to remember a lot of details, that's really hard. But Hammurabi, what is he important for? The law. He was the first ruler in history that we have that left us a law code. The laws of Hammurabi. Tit for tat, eye for an eye. That's from the laws of Hammurabi. So, an easy way to remember Hammurabi, the first lawgiver, eye for an eye. Number 2, Hatshepsut. Why is she here? Woman pharaoh. That was a real exception. That's easy to remember. She was a great queen, a great builder of wonderful monuments, temples, and things of that sort. And an explorer. She sent a couple of expeditions down south from Egypt into Ethiopia. So Hatshepsut, the woman pharaoh. Number 3, Akhenaten. Why is he important? Monotheism, one God. He introduced the worship of sun god and abolished traditional Egyptian gods, replaced it with one. Mono, one is one in Latin. So Akhenaten, the pharaoh, the monotheist pharaoh. The religious reform that he started ended when he died. Assurbanipal, why is he in here? Library. So Assurbanipal was an Assyrian emperor. Assyrian empire is an Iron Age empire. These first 3 people are from the Bronze Age. That is before the catastrophe of 1200 BC. When the Bronze Age civilization collapsed and we began the Iron Age civilization. So Assyria was the first Iron Age empire, military empire, and he was one of the rulers, not that important other than that he had this magnificent library that a lot of, good chunk of the things that we know about the ancient world, about the ancient Mesopotamia, came through that library. So, Cyrus the Great. Cyrus the Great is the founder of the Persian Empire. Why is he important? For the principle of religious toleration. Assyrians, before the Persians, were not tolerant people, and they tended to gloat and kind of insult the gods of the people who were defeated. They were basically saying to, I don't know, among other people, that they defeated the Jews, and they said, well, you know, our God is stronger than your God because we defeated you, and where was your God to protect you? Well, Cyrus the Great reversed that and allowed the Jews to return to Israel and to the land of Israel, and introduced this principle that you should be ruled by your own laws, religious laws, that is. All right. Number 6 is Herodotus, father of history, a Greek historian who was an immigrant who came over to the city of Athens, where he worked as an entertainer, as a teller of stories, a performer of sorts, and he wrote a book about Persian wars, the wars between Greeks and Persia. We have number 7, Socrates, is the person who who used to ask annoying questions, and therefore they killed him. That's a short story. Socrates was the founder, one of the very important, probably the most important Greek philosopher, famous for his dialectical method. Dialectical method is the method of asking difficult questions, annoying questions, as I said. So you ask probing questions, and by asking probing questions, you discover what is true and what is not. Socrates, his work has been recorded by his disciple Plato. So Socrates and Plato go together. Socrates didn't write anything. His teaching was oral, and Plato recorded his conversations. Aristotle is another important Greek philosopher, different from Plato and Socrates. Plato and Socrates are what we call the idealists, people who believe in ideas outside of the material world. Aristotle has a little bit of a different philosophy. He was not what's the opposite of idealism is materialism. That is, material world is everything, and ideas play no role whatsoever. Aristotle was not a materialist completely, but he believed that ideas always work together with the matter. So, sorry, my cat is here. So Aristotle was the founder of many sciences, and his philosophy was based on observation. That's how he started. Among other things, he was considered the father of modern biology. He classified animals and so on and so forth. He wrote about politics, including the constitutions of Greek cities and things of that sort. All right. Next coming up is Sophocles and Oedipus. Sophocles was an Athenian playwright. Athenians had an annual religious festival in honor of the god of wine and ecstasy, Dionysus. And for that purpose, there was a competition for plays to be performed. And one of the winners was Sophocles. His most famous play was Oedipus. Oedipus, which is a name that is famous in psychology for after Oedipus, who was a king who actually killed his father and married his mother. That's my cat. Again. Anyways. Next coming up, number 10 is Leonidas of Sparta. Leonidas of Sparta led the war against the Persians, famously with his 300 Spartans. He waged an important and a losing battle against the Spartans, but he sacrificed himself for the preservation of Greece. Therefore, he is a symbol of Greek. Sorry. He's a symbol of Greek patriotism. Number 11, Judas Maccabeus. Maccabees, Jewish family that rebelled against the Greek king Antiochus IV of Syria, of the Seleucid dynasty, who tried to impose Greek religion on Jewish temple, on Jewish people. And the Maccabees, a priestly family, resisted, and there were a couple of brothers and fathers, and so there was a whole family was involved. It was a priestly business, was their business, and they're associated with the holiday of Hanukkah, the holiday of Hanukkah. Then we have a couple of questions about Greek philosophy. We have number 12, Diogenes the Cynic. Diogenes the Cynics. The Cynics were the hippies of the ancient world, who just ignored and subverted social convention of their times. They didn't bathe, and that's why they were called dogs, because the hygiene was like a hygiene of a dog on the street, and dog in Greek is kinos, so therefore they're called the Cynics. Number 13 is the founder of Stoicism, Zeno. So Zeno was the founder of Stoicism. Stoicism was a very important Greek philosophy, which believed in an ordered universe ordered by reason of God. The rational thoughts of God run this universe according to the Stoics. And Stoicism became especially popular in the Roman Empire. But Zeno was the founder, and he was a Greek. We have number 14, Ptolemy the astronomer. He was a scientist, a Hellenistic scientist. Hellenistic period was important for its scientific contributions and achievements. And in particular, Ptolemy is associated with geocentric system of the world, a system according to which our planet Earth is in the center of the universe, and other planets and the stars circulate around the Earth. At least, that's how the world looks like when you look at the night sky from the Earth. And Ptolemy wrote about it. And throughout the Middle Ages and up until modern times, he was considered the standard of astronomy. Number 15 was Epicurus, another philosopher. Epicureans were the philosophers, the Greek originating in Greece, but many people later in the Roman Empire embraced Epicurean philosophy, including most famously Julius Caesar. Epicurus was advocating a philosophy that is based on pleasure. But it was not just simply philosophy that seeks pleasure at any cost. For Epicurus, the greatest of all pleasures was friendship and interaction with other human beings, which we are deprived of right now, and as you all know, it causes significant problems. So anyways, that was Epicurus. We have number 16, Rhea Silvia, the mother of Romulus and Remus, the founders of Rome. Romulus and Remus. Rhea Silvia. Number 17 is the story of Lucretia, a rape of Lucretia. That's the story about how the last king of the Romans of Rome, Tarquinius, who was Etruscan, was murdered after he tried to rape Lucretia, and her family exacted a revenge on him, killed him, and instituted a Roman Republic. Number 18 is Hannibal. Hannibal is associated with Punic Wars, or the wars between Rome and Carthage. He was a Carthaginian general. Carthaginian were a people. Carthage was a colony of the Phoenician people who lived in Lebanon, but they had a colony in North Africa, in modern-day Tunis. And they were great sailors. There is a belief, a lot of people argue, that they were the first one to sail around Africa, which is quite an achievement. It's a long sail and a difficult one. So Hannibal was a Roman nemesis. He fought Rome during the Punic Wars, and very successfully. The Romans won in the end, but Hannibal was so dreaded that Roman mothers would frighten and scare their children by saying, be good, Hannibal is gonna come and get you. Gracchi brothers are associated with the struggle of orders. There is a bit of